Verena mai kako. My name is Naya Lewis, and I'm the coordinator for Big Ocean. I'm also a part of the team that's presenting there live with you at WCC. My apologies that I can't be there in Marseille, but I can in a digital form thanks to technology. From a cultural perspective, if I were there in person, we would be able to see each other eye to eye and maybe even share that breath of life, which is such a common practice in many indigenous communities. However, under the circumstances these days, an alternate approach is required. That said, knowledge and wisdom, shared with intention, still carries a wealth of mana or life force despite the vast geography between us. So again, pardon the fact that my presentation is virtual, but I all hope that you can still feel my intention. So here we go. As the goal here is to highlight the essential ingredients to successfully employ best practice management at large-scale marine protected areas globally, I'm honored to provide an example from Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. First, as is the tradition in Hawaii, I would like to offer an oli, or a chant, to both honor my ancestors and the region of the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, which is a sacred place to the Hawaiian people. It represents Po, or the primordial darkness from which all life springs and returns to after death. This oli is a name chant for Papahanaumokuakea, and even though you may not understand the Olelo Hawaii or the Hawaiian language, you can connect with the sound and the imagery and place yourself into a positive mindset for this session. I also want to add that if there was any protocol to open the session this morning, that this ultimately builds on top of that and reaffirms the ties between indigenous and local communities working globally to protect and manage their natural and cultural resources, especially now in the face of growing environmental threats. Malama lama kala nuia kane pukaiha e. Apa kau ke kukuna I ka ili kai o na kai e walu. He ike makawalu ka ue ano I ne o na o walu o kanaloa hauna vela no hui kamawana nui. He hua kai kamakani o le hua au ike kai. Ku ono kalua o ku hai moana I ka kapa e hukai o ka ulai. O ku I ka loulua e ke aloha noni hoa moku manu. Manu o ku I ka ahui he alaka ina ka la hui. O hina pukoa. O hina puhala koa. O hina kupu. O hina I ka malamai. Hua ka o hua lu ke koho la aloha ka hili mukala. Kia ia ke a kala na hui uka. Ha nau ka pea puka ka pea I ke kai. He ina I ka ina. Ono I ka huna o ka paakai. Mano ka ike li o ka hopo o kana loe. Ko I lua ho ino ka lehu. O ku uluhi ai. Hano wale kaina ku puna o na mugule ai. No Papahanaumokuakea la hino. On December 4th, 2000, U.S. President William Clinton established the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve. He called it a bold and visionary action, but it was also the first fully remote, large-scale MPA. The reserve exists as a political entity but is overlaid by Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, established in 2006. Papahanaumokuakea is a reality because of a small but passionate group of native Hawaiian fishermen like Uncle Buzzy Agard, who catalyzed interest in preserving the near-pristine ecosystems of the most remote three-fourths of the Hawaiian archipelago. Similar to the Great Barrier Reef, managing agencies have pioneered the integration of traditional knowledge into management. For example, the Reserve Advisory Council's Native Hawaiian Cultural Working Group reviews permit applications, supported the development of a cultural research plan, and provides leadership for a nomenclature committee that names or renames species using the Hawaiian language and cultural perspectives specific to naming. The film you are about to watch showcases the legacy of people like Buzzy Agard and others who continue to dedicate their lives to protecting their small corner of the world for the betterment of all. And before I sign off and give the floor back to Masha and Sean to start the video, I want to offer a bit of context so that everyone participating today understands the importance of large-scale MPAs in healing our seas worldwide. The ocean is a global system essential to all life on our planet. The ocean covers 70% of the Earth's surface and is 99% of the volume that is inhabitable to all life. It produces 50 to 80% of the oxygen we breathe. It absorbs greenhouse gases that can keep climate change in check, and it determines weather patterns and temperatures. The ocean also serves as highways for seaborne international trade, provides livelihoods for 3 billion people, and supplies them with 15 to 20% of their protein. It also produces almost 2.5 trillion each year in goods and services, which in gross domestic product terms would make the ocean the 7th largest economy in the world. From a big ocean perspective, to catalyze change effectively, we must lead with pilina, or relationships, because seeing ourselves as a community will get us farther faster, and doing so in a meaningful way. Even though there are thousands of MPAs globally, close to 17,000 of all sizes, scales, and levels of implementation and protection, 73% of global marine conservation comes from 41 established and implemented LSMPAs that are 100,000 square kilometers or larger. That means all member sites of Big Ocean, plus the other sites shown on this map, and a few sites that aren't even included yet. That means most of the participants within large scale can directly affect and catalyze the impacts of scale on marine conservation globally. Ultimately, this also means that leveraging size and scale in our strategy to achieve global conservation goals is essential. We are the ocean. Its health is our health. Mahalo kako, and now back to everyone in Marseille.